Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Financial Wellness University. I am your host, your teacher, your coach, Joe Brown. And I'd just like to thank you for tuning in to this channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified about videos as they come available. Please hit the like button so that more people will be exposed to financial wellness as a result of studying through the Financial Wellness University. Now, I want to do an overview of the financial system I developed called the 7 Phases of Financial Wellness. So stay tuned. So as I said before, I want to review a system I developed called the 7 Phases of Financial Wellness. The 7 phases are these: earn money, give money, track money, protect money, save money, spend money, and enjoy money. Now, when you do these things, when you look at these 7 phases, if you will, these 7 things, if you do them consistently and you begin to evaluate your finances on each and every one of them, you'll see that your finances will begin to improve, because when you know what to focus on, you're more likely to improve an area of your life. It's just like learning to play basketball better. If you have a coach showing you what to focus on, you'll be better at that particular area. So these are 7 areas that people might know about, but they don't focus on them enough to see any real improvement on them over time and on a regular basis looking at them. So look at your earnings. Ask yourself questions like, am I earning or I need to earn? Do I have multiple sources of income, or do I just have one? We're in some challenging times during the COVID-19 quarantine period, and though there might be some trying to assume some levels of normalcy, there's still issues that are going to hamper our progress in terms of getting back to full normal operation. So having multiple incomes is not something that should be optional. It should be mandatory, because these times like this shows us that things can happen within a very short period to show us that the stability that we thought we had, we really didn't. But if we had multiple streams of income, we still might experience some slowing or some backwards momentum, but we won't be totally shut down. So how we earn makes a big difference in the financial wellness that we're going to experience in life overall and in life right now. Now, as I said, earn money is the key. Have multiple streams of income. Study people who are making more money. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. How are they making money, and what are they doing that I'm not doing? So we need to be able to evaluate ourselves and say, I need to change some things. I need to read more about earning more money. I need to study more people. Study on the web and see how I can improve myself. There's so many resources available at our fingertips nowadays. There's no excuse not to be able to learn more and to grow. I like a quote that I heard. I think it's T.R. Ecker. He said, your income will grow to the extent that you do. your income will grow to the extent that you do. And I'm encouraging you to do some things to grow yourself so that you can grow your income. Number 2, or phase 2, if you will, is give. We're certainly in a culture or in an atmosphere where generosity will make everyone's day a little better. And sometimes your plenty will help someone in need at a time, maybe when someone else's plenty will help you when you're in need. So there's opportunities to give, and just the joy of helping someone and making their life better is worth it. It's worth it. And if you begin to set aside just a little bit, even some of the richest people in the world are philanthropists. They give. They decided to give away their wealth to make society better. Helping people, giving, having a generous heart is going to make every situation, going to make the whole world better. And people who don't give, it just hurts everyone, because there's something that you can do. Even in your time, you can volunteer your time, you can volunteer your talent, your skill, or you can volunteer your money, your treasure. So don't forget this area of giving, because it might not be a direct correlation to your finances, but you will be blessed when you begin to give to someone. All right, so we looked at earning money, giving money. Now we're looking at tracking money. Without a budget, you are lost financially, because you don't know what's coming in and you don't know what's going out. I remember before I began to establish my budget, I was just running out of money at the end of the month, by the end of the month. And I was thinking that there was some foul play in my bank account, and what it really was me just spending crazy. I was spending money on food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I thought I was spending just a little bit, but I wasn't tracking it, and I was spending, as much as $400 to $500 a month on food. That's takeout. That's not even including groceries. So as I began to track my money that was coming in and going out, and as easy to track was coming in, because if you have a salary or you have checks or something, you just add all the income. But to add up what's coming in and to track and add up what's coming out, it should be a wash, a zero in terms of what, and it comes to zero because what's coming out should be a savings and investing, and we'll talk about that later. But what's coming in, what's going out should be tracked. And then as you begin to track it, you'll actually, in many ways, you can give yourself a raise, because when I realized I was spending $400, $500 a month, I cut it and I put a limit on it. And then when I got to that limit, as I'm tracking it through my little app that I have on my phone, now I'm realizing that I'm saving hundreds a month, and those few hundreds add up to where I can have a sustainable emergency fund. And then once my emergency fund, once you gathered your emergency fund and it's to a certain level, then you can move on to other things, paying off debt and drawing real wealth. But you can't do that if you don't know what's coming in and what's going out. And then you want to protect yourself. Phase 4, protect yourself. There's many ways to protect yourself, but two of the main ways to protect yourself is, one, have insurance, because we're going to experience some losses in our life that are going to exceed the amount of money we have on hand. And if it doesn't exceed the amount of money we have on hand, it's going to totally liquidate our savings, and now we're left without an emergency fund for something that we could have paid for for pennies on the dollar through insurance. So insurance is very crucial to protecting us from financial losses. Health insurance, car insurance, long-term care insurance, all kinds of insurance. Rental insurance, if you're a renter, if you're a homeowner, you need homeowners insurance. I mean, there are many insurances. If you have a digital footprint, you need ID theft protection. I mean, and we're in a climate where people don't want to just steal your money; they want to steal your identity. So having ID theft protection or low-cost legal protection, so you can have access to lawyers without spending all those high-cost retainers to have an attorney through a company I'm associated with called Legal Shield. I mean, you can get low-cost legal services and so many different other services that associate with those. So those are many ways you can protect yourself. The other way is to be debt-free, to eliminate debt. It's a nice feeling to earn money and not have someone have their hand out to take some of it every time you get paid. It's good to be debt-free, and I'm fortunate that I am free of all consumer debt right now, and I'm working on the real estate mortgage debt, and once that's done, I'll be completely debt-free. So I'm looking forward to that day, and I know I'm going to get there. Next, we talked about earning, giving, tracking, protecting, next saving. Now, there's three basic things we save for. Save for emergencies. We talked a little bit about the emergency fund. That should be like a starter emergency of $500 to $1,000. Then, as you eliminate all that debt, you build it up to 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months, and you'd be surprised. A 3-month emergency would have been a godsend to America if every American had 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. This pandemic wouldn't have turned us upside down like it did, but we can learn from it and begin to set aside the funds if we can to avoid us being in this situation of being at the mercy of the government or other people waiting for them to do for us when we could have stored up money and had an emergency fund that sustained us. Now, if you save 3 months of expenses, now if you look at your budget, say your budget had $3,000 in expenses, well, that means if you save 3 months, that would be $9,000. So if you need $3,000 to live off per month, then a good 3-month emergency fund would be $9,000. 6 month would be $18,000. But I would suggest to you that 3 months can last for 6 months if you cut some things at the same time, because there's some things that we spend right now before we need an emergency, before we're fired or laid off or just sick and can't work. There's some things that we're spending money on that we don't need to be spending, so we can cut some things like that. So we save for emergencies. We save for wealth building. That's investing in mutual funds, ETFs, index funds, but we invest in the stock market basically, or we invest in real estate, whichever. But in stock market would be the best recommendation for someone new to investing, because it's a lot less risk and it's a lot easier to get your money in and out. And but that is a way to invest, and it grows over time. The track record over time has shown that yes, it goes up and down, but it always trends upward. So if you leave it like you're supposed to, because investing is a long-term event, really, unless you're one of those people who try to do day trading. And I wouldn't recommend that to a new person who's just beginning to invest. But you invest for wealth building, and you save for wealth building. That's called investing. And then the third one is you save for major purchases. Say you want to get a car or another house one day, or just for vacation or Christmas fund. Once you saved your emergency fund, you don't have to stop saving, but put that other savings into a fund for major purchases. Now we get to spending. Spending is something that everybody likes to do, but when we spend, there's a reason why spending is near the end of this, because sequentially speaking, we should take care of everything that's important, like giving and saving and investing, before we start spending. Because if we do it in the wrong order, if we spend first, most of us won't have money to do all those other things. So spending should be one of the last things you do whenever you get paid, because those are the things that are gonna drain us if we don't use discipline in spending. Now, spending there's only two words we can: frugal and wisdom. Frugal doesn't mean cheap. It means trying to search for an economic solution to your need, whatever you want. Don't just go buy the first thing. Don't do some research. Ask yourself some questions. Is this a need, a want, or a desire? Yes, we need food, clothing, and shelter, but does it have to be the top brand, the designer stuff for everything? It doesn't have to be. So learn how to spend. And of course, one of the biggest purchases we would ever make is real estate. And if we spend for our own home in the wrong way, we could be stuck with a property that really drains our finances rather than helps us financially. So you shouldn't buy a house, your first home or your own home, that drains 50% of what you bring in. It should probably be no more than 25%, and you should try to, at very best, to put down at least 20%, so you don't have to be hampered with primary mortgage insurance, PMI. So those are things you do. And then, of course, in the seventh phase is enjoy. We have money. Let's use it to make us smile, but not make us smile right now and make us sad the next day after we do it with a whole lot of debt, or we use money allotted for something else to enjoy something, like going on vacation and don't pay the mortgage, or don't have an investment fund. So if we do our budget, we can put a line item in there, fun. We can just call it entertainment, fun, vacate, whatever you want to call it. So you set aside a little bit every month, and then if you get a unexpected lump sum or bigger amount, then you can put that in one of the funds after you taking out taxes and giving. You still use those same principles. You give some, you save some, you invest some, you put some for taxes if you are self-employed, and then you set aside an amount to spend, and you enjoy it. So those are the 7 phases of financial wellness. If we do those things in increasing measure, we will see ourselves improve financially. Thank you, and if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you will be notified for future videos. Thank you, and God bless.